So welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight I'm going to be talking about willpower. And my name's Catherine Macy. I'm one of the staff here. So yeah, it's great to have you here. Sounds like we've got another couple of people coming in, so we'll see. So willpower. So the question of the week this week is, what is will and can you strengthen it? And fortunately, I've been in contact with a gentleman called Brian Johnson. He's done a lot of gathering of research on this topic and many other topics too. And he's referenced a couple of researchers who have actually studied willpower. Can you actually make willpower stronger? And can you develop your willpower? The answer is yes, but we'll get to how. So we're referencing really research by Roy Baumeister. He wrote a book called Willpower with John Tierney, and then also The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal. And they're two, Kelly McGonigal's, she's up at Stanford, done a ton of research in this area. And Roy Baumeister also, he's one of the founding members of the positive psychology movement, that kind of thing. So he's been in it a long time and really been studying this for a long time. So we're going to draw on some of their wisdom today and look at, well, what is willpower and how can we strengthen it, right? So such an interesting thing. One of the experiments they did was they took some kids into a room and they said to them, I'll give you one marshmallow now, or if you can wait a certain length of time, 10 minutes, I don't remember how long it was, so maybe 10 minutes, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. Right? So it takes willpower to wait for the 2 marshmallows rather than just having the 1 marshmallow. But super interestingly, that people's success in life is much better predicted by the willpower than it is by IQ. So those kids who were able to wait they didn't have instant gratification, they were able to wait for the satisfaction, they succeeded better in life later on. So perhaps willpower is something that is useful to develop. And one of the things that willpower is attached to your future self. You've got to be able to think of yourself in the future in order to be able to exercise willpower. Willpower is all about doing the thing that you know is going to be right for you in the longer term, right? So it's about exercising right, it's about eating right, it's about sleeping well, it's about focusing, it's about all of those things. You use willpower when you're doing those things. And having a strong connection to your future self, even if it's 10 minutes later to get the 2 marshmallows instead of just getting the 1 marshmallow, that makes a difference, right? So you can exercise your willpower in small ways. You can also exercise your willpower in bigger ways too, for building on 10-year goals or those kinds of longer term projects. There's always been a debate, I guess you could say, about whether willpower is finite or infinite. And their research shows that it's kind of both. In a given day, we have essentially a finite amount of willpower that we can exercise in the day. So one of the things that people do to help their willpower is to pre-decide what they're going to do for the day. I don't have to think about what I'm wearing when I come to work, because I know it's going to be my black pants, my white shirt, and my black coat if I'm teaching, right? I don't have to think about that. It's not a decision that I have to make. But if you're spending, 5, 10, 20 minutes, half an hour deciding what to wear, that's a lot of decision power that you're utilizing in your brain that then you don't have the energy to be able to use that somewhere else in your life. So pre-deciding some things can be very, very helpful in a lot of ways. So that's the finite aspect of it during your day. And you have the capacity for virtually infinite willpower. Like you can continue to develop your willpower during your lifetime, during your day and during your lifetime. And one of the key ways they say to do this is to play offense rather than playing defense, right? So if, let's say, you've decided that you're going to come to Kung Fu class, then what you want to play offense, the things that you're going to do is going to make sure that you're prepared for Kung Fu class when it happens. So you've got your uniform with you, you've got a snack with you so you can have a snack before you come to class. You've done all the things you need to do to make it easy to go, right? So you're really making sure that you're taking the time to allow yourself, you're just making the path as easy as possible. Like you're going to go for a run in the morning. You put your shoes right beside your bed so that when you get out of bed, you're like, oh, I'm putting my shoes on, I'm going for a run. So you don't have to think about that decision because you already pre-made it, right? So that makes it really, really easy. And then you can look at commitment strategies, like what strategies are you going to employ to make those things easy for yourself on a longer term basis. And if you're going to commit to a certain length of time, what else can you do in your life that's going to support you in doing that, right? They always say buy your willpower at the store, right? So if you're stopping eating ice cream or you're stopping eating, whatever junk food you eat, Cheetos or what, Doritos, those junk food things that I don't have in my house, thank goodness. If I don't want to eat those things, I go to the store not hungry and I make sure that I buy the healthy food and then I bring that home and then I get to eat healthy food when I'm at home. Like it's pre-deciding, helping me setting myself up for success, right? Or setting my family up for success. And there's always those times where you think, well, I did Kung Fu class tonight. I'd really like ice cream. I'm going to go buy ice cream on the way home. One could do that. And when you have that impulse to do something that you know is not what you actually want to do, then that's a time to take a breath, pause, plan out what it is that you really want, and then act on that, right? So this is the place where meditation can really help us because we're practicing taking breaths, we're practicing paying attention to what it is that we want and need on the inside from our highest self rather than what I'm going to call it our basest self wants and needs. Well, quote unquote needs. Nobody actually needs ice cream, but maybe, but usually not. There are other options, right? You can choose other options. And when you're in that place of impulse, this is something really, really cool. So when you're in that place of impulse, the very, very, very interesting part about this is that when you're more stressed, your willpower and your ability to not be impulsive, so your ability to stick to your plan, goes down when you're more stressed. When you're less stressed, your willpower, your ability to stick to your plan goes up. There's a direct inverse relationship, right? So if you get to a point in your day, whatever, where there's an impulse that comes up, like, oh, I think I'm going to go buy ice cream on the way home, then what you want to do is choose something that's going to decrease your stress level. So it will allow your willpower to weigh out instead of the impulse, right? So you choose to do things that are going to bring you down. So rather than being something that's going to give you a dopamine hit, which energizes you, but it also pushes that anxiety level up. So things like scrolling on Facebook or doing things on your screen, just doing things that aren't necessarily healthy. Any addictive behavior is going to feed your dopamine and not allow you to settle at that point in time. So instead you choose activities that will give you serotonin, oxytocin, those types of feel-good chemicals we have in our bodies allow your stress levels to reduce, right? They give you energized tranquility. So you're allowing your whole nervous system to settle down a little bit, which in turn allows your willpower to increase. So you've got this ability to choose in that moment of impulse when you say, oh, I'm going to go buy ice cream. You've got that moment to go, or I could go walk on the beach for 15 minutes and then go home. Instead of going to the store, I'll go walk on the beach or whatever it is that you're going to do that's going to allow you some time to settle into yourself and be with yourself and be closer to nature, closer to any of those activities that allow you to really sink into who you are. Then that allows you to have greater willpower. That's a super cool idea. And the things that really help you with these, so eating, moving, sleeping, and focusing, right? So eating, you're more likely to have less impulse control if you're hungry. You're more likely to have less impulse control if you don't move your body on a regular basis. You're more likely to have less impulse control if you don't sleep well, if you're tired. And you're more likely to have less impulse control if you don't do something like meditating, where you're allowing yourself to just sit and to breathe and to be. So when you're in that place of figuring out how am I going to increase my willpower and decrease my impulsivity, choose things to do that are small and easy to do. Take tiny baby steps towards increasing your willpower and do those things consistently, and that increases your confidence in your ability to be able to do those things on a regular basis, and that's by its very nature is going to increase your willpower because you're going to be more inclined to do those things again as you are continuing to develop your confidence in yourself and develop your own willpower. And when you slip, because you will, because you're human, because we're all human, so it's not. Don't go into the shame game. That's not the game that we want to play. We want to go into the game of, oh, well, that's interesting. I bought ice cream last night and they ate ice cream. How could I circumvent that the next time? It's like, yeah, we're human, right? We're going to buy ice cream sometimes. And that's okay. And but having the support around you, having your friends around you help you with that. Going back to your meditation practice, just going back to the things that work, really, really helpful in that like stretch of time and around those things that you're trying to work on, and giving yourself grace and ease as you work on the new behaviors. If you're bringing new behaviors into your life, to not eat ice cream, or to, you know, come to the gym, come to the dojo and do martial arts practice, whatever it is that you're working on right now, whatever it is that you're struggling with right now, where you've got that, I'm not quite sure how to do this, then figure out ways to make it easy. Figure out what's going to help you do those things. So, as I said, one of the things that you can do to help with your willpower is to meditate. And we're going to do that tonight. We're going to sit for probably around 20 minutes or so and practice being with our breath and noticing what's inside us today, what our higher power is allowing ourselves to view and to see today. So with that, we'll set up for that. Thank you. Yeah. So you can choose to sit however you want to sit. I sit like this in Seiza with my knees on the ground. You can cross your legs. The best way to make sure that your feet aren't going to fall asleep is to have your knees lower than your hips. You want to have your spine straight. Your hands can be, together or at the fold of your hips. The spine straight. Allow your eyes to close gently, but allow them to look slightly upturned, as though they're looking at the point between your eyebrows. You're going to allow your breath to come in and to go out gently, naturally. Let go of any worries, concerns, or cares, and be here now.